I feel like homeopathy is it could be lost easily because most people don't know what it is. Just like Heather and I coming into this, Sandra coming into this, like none of us knew what homeopathy was.
And we were looking.
Right. We were looking for answers.
Yeah.
We were looking for natural solutions, but it was introduced to us and we had no idea the world that it was opening up for us. And so that's kind of become our mission. Is to be able to share that with people that are looking for those answers and looking for a practical solution that's going to help them.
Welcome to the Simple Hopeopathy Podcast. Your hosts are Sandra Nardoni, Nicole Pavlik, and Heather Strickland, three practical homeopaths whose mission is to educate, empower, and encourage mamas like you to confidently use the practical homeopathy approach to take back your health. Homeopathy is a system of natural medicine discovered in the 1700s by Dr. Samuel Hahnemann and is not supplements, botanicals, or herbalism. If you'd like to learn more, brew a cup of tea or coffee and keep listening.
We would just like to welcome all of you. This is the very first inaugural recording of the Simple Hopeopathy Podcast.
Good job.
And I know I never say it right, but anyway, so we are super excited to be here with you guys tonight. And we're just going to get started by kind of telling you who each of us are and why we are doing this and how we came to hopeopathy. Now I can't say homeopathy.
Saying the wrong word. That's right.
Why we came to homeopathy. And we're actually going to start with Heather. So,
all right. I'm Heather Strickland. I live in Northeast Ohio, and we are all APH people, which is the Academy of Practical Homeopathy. How we ended up there. I was in a vendor group about 3.5 years ago with Nicole, and I saw her post, and she was talking about a couple different things, but she had a class called Gateway to Homeopathy. And I was like, oh, I have a book on my bookshelf that says homeopathy. I never opened it and hadn't read anything about it. And to be honest, I thought it was like home remedy stuff because I was like, herbal type things. I thought it was along those lines. And I was like, oh, I'd like to learn new things. I'm a nerd. So I registered for her class and did Gateway 1. And then I did Gateway 2. And then I did Gateway 1 again. I did Gateway 2 again. I did them like 3 times because I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff is amazing. And this is what I have been looking for. I've been a health coach for almost 9 years. And as much as I loved helping people with like kind of a functional naturopathic paradigm, and I did help a lot of people, I just felt like there was always something missing. And like there was a piece that I just couldn't quite, like people would get better, but not all the way. And so having this, it's not even a modality. It's a whole complete system of medicine. And this was the missing piece that we had been looking for, that I had been looking for to help my family and friends and clients. And so that's really cool.
So that's how you got it.
That's how I got here.
And just so that a little clarification, some of you may be coming here without any knowledge of what Gateway 1 and 2 means.
Yes, sorry.
And that is actually the introductory and a little bit more intermediate classes that we actually all teach now.
Yes.
From our mentor, Joette Calabrese, who actually founded the school that we all got our certifications.
Which we will get into in more.
Yeah, we will get into that, but I just wanted you to go like, what's Gateway 1 and not know what it was. That's okay. You did a great job.
Thanks.
You did a great job. Anyway. All right. So Nicole, how did you get into this whole crazy thing?
Hi guys. All right. So some of you guys may know me, some of you guys may not. My story is lengthy, so I'm not going to do that to everybody here, but if you ever want to hear my lengthy story, you can definitely register for the Gateway classes with me because I always share that there. But just briefly, I got into homeopathy because I was a registered nurse who felt like the healthcare system was lacking. I was also a chronic disease sufferer myself. And so I got into holistic medicine, trying to heal myself and heal my family. I went back to nursing school to become a holistic registered nurse. I became a health coach. I went into all of these different modalities to try to help myself and my family. And I got better over the years, but I felt like there was, again, like a missing link. There was something missing.
Yep.
And I had a homeschool friend introduce me to the gateway classes that Heather just talked about. And like Heather, I thought the same thing, that this was just a really cool, home remedy course that I was going to learn, like some, I don't know. I don't even know what I
Concocting
thought.
things in our basement.
Yeah, like
Right.
something.
in the backyard with the cauldrons.
Right. So I thought that was what it was. And then when I took my first gateway class, I realized quickly that homeopathy was its own system of medicine. And I absolutely fell in love with it, realized quickly that this was the missing link for me, that I had been looking for personally. So I started teaching the gateway classes from there. I've been teaching those for years. I started taking clients. And then once Joette, who is our mentor, who we just mentioned briefly, began APH, I decided to go to school to become a homeopath myself. And that is where I met
That's where we met.
Sandra. So Sandra was in my study group, and that's
2
how
years
we
ago.
connected. Yeah, 2 years ago. And so I'm going to hand it over to Sandra and let her tell you guys a little bit about her.
So, my journey into homeopathy was rather desperate. My husband had a stroke in 2020, and at the age of 46, and that was like a huge shock to us. But also, he'd had a lot of health issues that were kind of never resolved over the course of like 20. Really, I would say he's been sick 20 out of the 30 years we've been married. And so we were living in Florida, and I was feeling really desperate because he was having a lot of side effects from the medications he was on as a result of the stroke. It was making everything he had before the stroke worse. And yet, he needed to have his blood pressure lowered and all that kind of stuff. So he couldn't really stop taking the medicines. And I was just really pretty desperate. And I literally would go outside in the morning on the front porch, and I would just like pray that God would send me an answer, because we had done everything. We'd done supplements, we had done oils, we had done chiropractic, we had done, just like anything you can think of. We changed our diet. I had gotten my kids off of psychotropic medications when we had adopted them from foster care, using primarily supplementation. At the time, I didn't know it, but I was also using homeopathy, but I didn't realize that's what I was using. I just knew it was a natural medicine of some sort and that it worked. And I got my son in particularly off some pretty high powered medications using homeopathy, not even knowing it. So I thought I had tried everything. And we had a friend that was actually an acquaintance that she let us know that she was going to be in Orlando. We live near Orlando. We went out to dinner with her at Denny's, of all places. And she's quite a bit older than us. And I had remembered from hanging out with her before that she used to have really bad arthritis in her knees, like kind of debilitating arthritis. And she asked me if I would take her for the day to Universal Studios, because I had a pass there. And I thought, okay. I thought, well, if you really want me to, I will. And I'm trying to think of like, what can we do at Universal that's not going to make her be in total pain all day? And so we get to Universal, and oh my gosh, she was like making me tired. She was like thumping around on that cement like nobody's business. And I noticed she had this little container of these white pellets, and about every 3 hours she would take some and chew them up. And I was like, finally, I looked at her and I was like, Marita, what is going on? I was like, this is crazy. You have always had this bad arthritis, and we're going around on the cement, and we've been doing this for like 7 hours, and you're not even complaining. And I'm younger than you by quite a bit. And I feel like maybe you are doing better than I am. And so she was like, well, it's homeopathy. And I was like, well, I know about homeopathy. And she's like, no, you don't. And I was like, what? And she goes, you don't know what it is. And I was like, no, I really do. I've done everything. And she's like, Sandra, you don't know what it is. And I'm like, okay. So we went back to her condo that night and she ended up like telling me like all about this thing called homeopathy that she'd been doing. And yeah, it was actually arnica and symphytum that she was using, which is a great combination for knees. And she told me about Joette Calabrese's website. And I went on there, and I guess the rest is history because I started taking classes and I've pretty much never stopped for the last 3 years. So it has been an amazing journey, so much fun. And so we are actually launching this podcast not just for fun, although we think it's really fun.
It's pretty fun.
We're actually doing it because all of us are homeopaths. We all take clients, but the reality is that we just don't have the time to help as many people as we would like to help. And having a podcast allows us to get the word out about homeopathy in a way that is a lot faster and, more far reaching. And so that's why we're doing this. And a lot of the things that we're going to talk about on this podcast will be things that you can implement immediately. Like, it's not going to be rocket science that you have to just know the magic combination of things or whatever. It's going to be stuff that is practical because that's what we're going to be teaching. We're going to be teaching practical homeopathy. And actually, we need a disclaimer right now that we are not doctors, and anything that we say should not be considered medical advice because we are not doctors. Everything that we talk about is educational in nature. So that's my little disclaimer that I forgot to give at the beginning. But anyway, so we're going to be teaching you about practical homeopathy because it is practical and you can use it in your families right away, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah. And for those of you guys that are already into homeopathy and you already kind of know what you're doing, don't think that this isn't going to be for you as well. We're going to be, doing lots of other things besides the podcast that I don't know if we're going to open all that up tonight and share all that tonight, but
there's more coming.
We have a lot of plans happening for everybody at every level because, like I said, like Sandra said, we not only want to do the podcast and touch on topics that aren't always covered and introduce this to new people, but we want to cover you guys that have been interested in homeopathy and that have been following us. So we have a place for everybody here and what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing not every episode will be like this, but we are going to be doing interviews with people that you might recognize in the health community and especially the health freedom community. So this, like Nicole says, it's not just for beginners. This is going to be for anyone who's interested in this topic. And I know for me, I'm not I haven't been doing this for 30 years, but I've been doing it for 3 years. And I know a lot of stuff now, especially after going to school for it. But every time I delve into a new homeopathic topic, I learn things.
Absolutely.
And so
we all do.
I think that is when you are really, truly a lifelong learner
or a nerd.
Like
we are.
Fellow nerds.
Then you are going to get stuff from each of these episodes that maybe you didn't know before. So just now, I just in an offhanded way said, hey, Arnica 200 mixed with Symphytum 200 is a great remedy combination for arthritic knees. So some of you may know about homeopathy and not know that that's a Banerjee protocol. We're going to talk a little bit more about Banerjee protocols in a minute. But anyway, let's talk about the name of our podcast.
Yes.
And Susan, are you here? I think Susan is here.
She is here. So we're gonna tell you guys a little bit about how we came together how we decided to
Mhm.
work together, and then we're going to talk about the name and how we kind of came to this name. So we already kind of mentioned a little bit before, Heather and I met in a vendor group. Heather took my classes over and over
and over.
again. A lot of you guys on tonight know Heather too, because she's been helping me out already. So Heather and I had kind of been talking about for a couple of years now of how we can work together on some kind of level. And then Sandra and I, we met 2 years ago, and about a year ago, she tried to get our study group that we were with working together on this plan that she had, this podcast and some other things that she had planned. And everybody was too busy at the time. I was one of those
Nicole has
people.
a very boring life.
Yeah.
The whole 7-kid thing.
No biggie.
So Sandra reached out to me, or I reached out to her for a question on strep throat or something like that.
Because we are all
And-
talking all the time.
Yeah, and she was like, "Hey, I don't know if you're interested right now, but do you want to work together?" And it was the easiest yes I had ever said, because I felt like the timing was right.
Yeah.
I received like this message in my head months back, and it was like, build your team. Because I knew I needed to get my message out. I knew I needed to get this message out, and I needed more people to help me do that. You guys know I'm busy. So that's kind of how we did it. So Sandra and I were planning to work together, and I was like, "Hey, so I have this really awesome friend, Heather, and she's just graduating APH too, and she's already doing amazing things, and I think she needs to be a part of what we're doing." So Sandra was like, "Well, I don't know her, but if you trust her, then yeah, let's do this." So it was the easiest partnership I think we've ever had. The three of us came together. We have all these
It
big
has
plans.
come together so fast. Like we literally, I don't remember the first, I'd have to look back at my text to see the first time that we talked about it, other than when I was talking about it like a year ago. But it was like, I think 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And so it's been really fast. I was basically planning on doing a podcast by myself. And I don't like doing stuff by myself. Like I like
It's
people.
way more
It's
fun
so
together.
much more fun this way.
For sure.
And it's more fun for you guys too, because when you sit and listen to somebody teach, it's great. And, and you get a lot out of it. But when you hear a conversation and you got 3 brains and all this energy and all this stuff, it just makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. So we had to come up with a name, obviously.
Yes.
And we came up with the name, as you guys might have seen already, Simple Hopeopathy. Now, one of the things that we obviously are doing is homeopathy here. And one of our amazing students is Susan, who's on tonight. And we want her to kind of share a little bit about, what she called hopeopathy. That kind of came from her in one of our classes. She called it hopeopathy. And I was like, "Susan, I'm literally going to put this on a t-shirt one day because
And we will.
you described, yes, and we did.
And we did.
Yeah. So, we just felt like I felt like that described homeopathy so well, because a lot of us are chronic disease sufferers. We come into this not really, having any answers, and homeopathy is that thing for us that gives us those answers. And so when Susan said that to me, I was like, "Girl, I get you. I hear you, and this is perfect." So, Susan, I don't know if you are able to unmute, but we'd love to bring you on for a minute.
I
And
think
just,
she can. She can.
we just want you to take a couple of minutes to introduce yourself and share how you found homeopathy, and also why you felt the need to call it hopeopathy. So if you want to go ahead and open up your mic, and if you can turn on your camera, and let everybody kind of hear from you, because we want to give you credit for this amazing name that you came up with.
Is she there?
Can I see her?
She was on earlier.
We might have lost her. So Susan has been having some technical difficulties as well today. No, she's here, she said. Are you able to? She might not. Let's check the chat. She might not be able to open her camera. Let's see.
Let's see here.
We're checking a setting. Hold on.
We're checking a setting to see if we can turn on people's cameras.
See, this is the difficulty of having no
No
tech
tech.
person.
Okay,
so
yeah,
bear with
we're
us,
good.
guys.
We're
We're
good.
asking you to turn on your videos. And I don't know if it's going to
want
work.
to turn on your video, we are recording.
You don't
so we
have
do
to,
understand
but
that.
I'm
but-
here.
yeah. So can everybody turn on your video if I don't request it? I feel like
I don't think they can. I couldn't.
how do I get
I
into
wasn't
it? Oh, there we
able to,
go.
but-
Yeah.
Okay.
She is.
And there she is. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I did. Can you hear me?
Because we can't hear you.
She-
Oh my God.
Your audio might not be connected because she is unmuted.
Can you hear me now?
You know what? We are using a microphone.
Is that why?
I wonder if that's why. We might not be able
What if
to
we
get her.
unplug the mic while she talks?
Then we might not get it back on again.
Okay.
How about if you turn your phone on?
Okay.
All right, we're gonna try this out.
Oh, there we go.
We're going to try and see if we can hear you through the phone.
Susan's like, yes, I get time to get ready. Guys, get ready because Susan is a firecracker. She's awesome. We
Oh,
love her
gosh.
so much. She's been such a dedicated student, and we're so grateful to have you on, Susan. So hopefully we can figure this out and see if we can hear you. Do you want me to try it now?
Yeah, I'm going to try it now.
So,
All right, go ahead, Susan.
can you hear me now?
Yeah. We can hear
Okay.
you through Heather's phone. So we're going to let you talk.
Okay, mute your mic because it's like echoing now.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not a tech person. So, my name is Susan, and I'm from New Jersey, and I have 5 children. And I had a lot of health concerns with all my children for 20 years. And 4 years ago, I woke up and I realized that I had been partaking and poisoning my kids since birth. And that was what the cause of their illnesses and diseases and sicknesses and all those things were. And I turned to natural health. And a good friend taught me about nutrition, supplements, which was all great and everything worked. I knew about essential oils. We did some acupuncture. We still do chiropractic care, but nothing was like really curing. And I really couldn't afford to buy supplements anymore forever. I don't really know many people who can pay that many, especially with 5 kids, and they all have problems. So they did help, but it wasn't like, what we needed. We needed a cure. And my son had some very personal issues that had come up, and I literally mourned them a year and a half ago. And for like a week, I was just like sighing, crying, sobbing. And I'm just like, God, forgive me. Don't take it out on him. And I'm like, I know my God is awesome. There's got to be a way. It's not survival of the fittest or the richest can afford supplements. There's got to be something. And then through a chain of events, I touched homeopathy in my hands and I seen it work, but I didn't know what it was. And then I found Nicole, and she was just speaking my language, and she was talking about hopeopathy. She called it homeopathy, but when I heard all the things, I was like, this is hope. This is hopeopathy. This is it. And it's literally affordable. It's super, super practical. Everything about it is practical. It's, a lot to learn, but like for certain ailments and stuff like that. But I mean, we're making great strides. But it takes time. But I mean, I'm just so happy that I know what this is. Like, so I guess that's my abbreviated version. But
That is awesome. We're gonna mute this so it's not. Hang on.
You're good.
There we go.
Good.
Can you turn it?
Yep. Just did.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
We're like hearing it
Again,
twice.
tech person. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's amazing. I wish we could have more of a conversation with you right now, but we will possibly bring you on in a different time to actually talk with you
And hear the whole.
and hear the whole story.
Yeah.
But we kind of wanted to get like everything in a nutshell and like just also give you credit and thank you for that amazing
thank you.
idea
Thank you
of
all. Like, thank God, right?
Hopeopathy. So
Yes.
anyway, also, oh, you know what? I left it upstairs. We actually are going to be sending you a t-shirt. It looks similar to this,
Yes.
except it says homeopathy, God's medicine on the
Yes.
top.
Awesome.
And then this has our business name, but it's the same image. So we are so thankful that you joined us tonight. We're going to be sending that to you as a thank you. So thank you
real
so
quick,
much.
Yes.
Well, one other
If
thing.
you're asking us a question, we can't hear you right now. If you want to put it in the chat, we're going to be answering questions at the end. So, but anyway, thank you so much, Susan, for coming on and sharing that with us.
And if anyone else wants to, go ahead and submit, some of you guys have already done so, but if you guys want to submit your testimonials and your story in future podcasts, we would love to have you guys on and be able to share with us, because that's one of the things that we love so much about this community building and the sharing, is hearing each other's stories and hearing each other's testimonials. We can all learn from each other, and we think it's so powerful, and we love hearing that from you guys. So anybody that feels comfortable can just reach out to us, submit your testimonial. It could be a written one, it could be a video, you could be a guest on the podcast at some point. So just wanted to point that out. Thank you again, Susan. We love you so much, and we're definitely going to have you back on for future testimonials, because I know you have lots of them. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we are going to go into a little bit more, just to give you an idea of what the rest of the podcast is going to be. We're going to give you a little bit of the history of homeopathy, where it came from. Then we're going to talk about how it works, just a little brief overview, and the difference between practical homeopathy and other ways of practicing homeopathy. And then we have some really exciting giveaways, including 2 resort stays that we're going to do at the end. And then we'll have some time for Q&A. If you guys have questions, please go ahead and put those in the chat. And what we'll do is at the end, we will actually turn off the recording so that you can feel free to talk with us. We'll actually, we'll unplug the microphone so we can hear you and interact with you, and we'll answer some of your questions. So we'd like the questions tonight to be about the general idea of homeopathy. Like if you have questions about very general things,
not a case,
not giving us cases or asking questions about cases. So if that is something that you are, if you can just remember to keep it to that kind of topic, like more general about homeopathy, that would be great. So anyway, so we're going to go ahead and talk about the history of homeopathy. I'm just going to give you a very brief overview. Hey, Vicki. And
I'm so sorry.
If you want to, and Vicki, we cannot hear you when you talk right now, even if you're unmuted, because we're using a microphone. And what I was just saying is that if you want to put your questions or comments in the chat, at the end, we're going to turn off the recording and actually interact with you guys. So after we give away prizes. So anyway, Homeopathy was discovered in the late 1700s by a doctor. His name was Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. And Dr. Hahnemann was a medical doctor. He was a brilliant person. He knew 7 languages fluently. In fact, when he was just a very, very young boy, he was only 12 years old. He was actually asked to teach the other students in his school Greek, if that gives you any idea of how amazing his brain was. And so he ended up going to medical school. He was also a chemist. And what he noticed was that he kind of felt like the things that he was doing for his patients were actually killing them,
Like bloodletting.
or making them more sick.
Yeah.
And
Actual poisons.
and he was like, I can't really in good conscience do this. And so there's a letter that he wrote to a friend, and he said, hey, I just feel like if there really is a good God that created everything and is allowing things on this planet that are dangerous or bad or whatever, I just can't help but believe that he would also put on the planet a way to counteract those things. And I'm going to find it. So he stopped practicing medicine, at least, taking new patients or whatever. He was only helping family and friends in the ways that he knew how. And he started translating medical and chemist papers professionally. So he knew all these languages. So they would send him like medical journal entries and things like that, so that he could translate them into all these different languages, so that they could be published around the world. So that did a couple of things. First of all, it made it so he had all this knowledge coming into him all the time, which was amazing. But it also gave him a chance to read the research that other people were doing and really analyze it in a way that he would never have been able to do. So this basically went on for quite a while. I think he took a break from being an actual medical doctor for 18 years.
It was a while.
It was a while. And over the course of that time, he continues to do this because he had like 11 children. So he had to work and he's doing all these papers. And one day he gets a medical paper in from a doctor in Paris that was talking about how he had cured malaria using a tea made from Peruvian bark. And Dr. Hahnemann was looking at that paper, and the guy was like, yeah, I think, or he probably sounded more like this. I do believe that I probably was able to solve this issue because of the color of the Peruvian bark. And Dr. Hahnemann was like, that's retarded. And that is not why it cured the person. It's not because of the color of the thing. But that was kind of the way that people thought, in the early 1800s. Or late 1700s. And so he was like, I really wonder why this worked. And so he made himself a tea from Peruvian bark and he started drinking it. And over the course of a day or two, he actually got all the symptoms of malaria, even though he did not have malaria. And he was like, aha, sacre bleu. And so he was completely amazed by this and realized, or he had this idea that maybe something that caused symptoms in a healthy person would solve those same issues in a sick person. That was his idea. And so he started doing experiments, and he basically used his family and friends as guinea pigs, which is hilarious to me. And
Like,
but
we do that now.
yeah, will you take this? And then
Have a sip.
and because he was a chemist, he understood the concept of dilution and succussion, which succussion is just a specific way of shaking something up, really vigorously and with purpose. And so he's like, he's a chemist, so he diluted things that would typically be very dangerous, things like arsenic. He would dilute it down to where he knew it wouldn't kill somebody. And then he would succuss it because he understood that there was some sort of chemical reaction that was happening when the substance was succussed that actually removed the toxicity and left the healing elements or properties of the substance. And over the course of about 6 years, he realized that this process actually created medicines that were quite powerful, but also very gentle and had no side effects. He started treating his family and friends, and
Right.
eventually he was able to start sharing this with the world. And that's how we got the system of medicine called homeopathy. So,
Good job, Kimalia.
why, thank you. Hey, that was an insult.
It wasn't. It was a compliment.
Just so you guys know, we're nerdy, but we like to have fun too. So this podcast is going to be fun. It's going to be goofy. Sandra is like our resident comedian, in case you guys haven't picked that up yet.
I don't know if you watched my ad, but
But anyway, so yeah, we're going to keep going with some more education for you guys, but we're going to try to keep it fun for you. So
Yeah.
what do we have next?
well, next we're going to talk about, actually it goes to you. I gave the history. Now you get to tell us what it actually is. What is homeopathy? How does it work?
Am I or is Heather?
You,
Okay.
law of similars.
Okay. I
Go.
see Heather's name.
It's all you, girl.
All right. So most of you guys might know this already, but some of you guys, like I said, are brand new to homeopathy. So what is homeopathy? What are we talking about here? We're talking about the law of similars. And the law of similars is basically like cures like, right? So what does that mean? That means that a substance, when you give it to a person that is healthy, like in Sandra's story, they can actually experience symptoms and it can make them sick.
Mildly
Right.
and
So-
easy to overcome.
Yes.
When you give it in a homeopathic form, when it's diluted down, when you give it to somebody that's already experiencing those same symptoms, and that can actually negate those symptoms. So what exactly does all that mean? Because some people's heads are probably spinning right now when I just explain that. So I like to give examples. So my example that I like to share is the example of the red onion. So everybody kind of knows what a red onion is, right? I think everyone here knows what an onion is. So what happens when you cut into an onion? Right? Your eyes start watering, they start tearing, you might get a runny nose, it might start burning, all those things, right? So we have a homeopathic remedy, and in the Latin version of red onion is called allium cepa, right? So when you give allium cepa to somebody experiencing those symptoms, it can actually stop those symptoms. So can anyone think about a condition that you usually get seasonally that you experience those symptoms? I think everyone knows, right? You know?
Pick me.
Okay, what is it? Sandra?
Seasonal allergies.
Seasonal
Ding, 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 ding,
allergies,
ding.
right? So like
Right.
itchy, watery eyes, runny nose. Good job, Sandra. Brownie points for you.
Thanks.
All right. So the law of similars, that's how it works. So we're giving something that's diluted down so much so that it's going to negate those symptoms in a person experiencing them. So what we're doing essentially is we're helping people heal from acute situations and even chronic situations by giving them something in this, like we mentioned earlier, this gentle form known as homeopathy. So that's basically the basis of how homeopathy works. I can share other stories deeper, but I'm not going to do that right now because we have to make it quick. But if you guys keep following along with us, you'll learn more about that. So if that doesn't make total sense to you right now, just keep following along because we're going to make this accessible and easy for everybody to understand. And so, yeah, so next, Heather is going to talk about the difference between practical homeopathy
Thanks.
and and classical homeopathy, because as Sandra mentioned, classical homeopathy was developed in the 1700s and has kind of strayed a little bit from what we
Back
call
to
classical
classical.
now.
Yeah.
From Hahnemann. It's straight from Hahnemann.
Right. But practical homeopathy, we want to give credit to our mentor, who is Joette Calabrese, who we've mentioned earlier, and she actually coined that term, practical
Yes.
homeopathy. So,
And if I
Yes.
can go back to the history part of it for just a brief minute.
yeah,
Dr. Hahnemann actually wrote 6 books about homeopathy, but the 6th one was not discovered and published until I believe the early 1900s.
After he had.
And so he actually really changed a lot of his thinking about the way that homeopathy should be administered. But it's like people really latched on to his 4th and 5th books, and they never changed the way they approached it. So from a historical perspective, there were a lot of people that were still practicing homeopathy in like more of one of the earlier stages of when he was still trying to get things right and develop it. And they never really moved away from that. But when his 6th book came out, it really clarified a lot of things, and he was actually doing things much more similar to practical homeopathy.
Yes.
Not exactly, but it was definitely moving more toward that direction. And for some reason, even after that book came out, it just wasn't widely circulated. And a lot of the schools and stuff were still based on classical.
So
And,
why don't
yeah.
we let Heather tell everybody like what's practical homeopathy? What
Yeah.
is that?
Practical homeopathy, like you guys said, was something that Joette Calabrese coined that term, and she had been a classical homeopath for what, 25-ish, 30 years.
Yeah.
You know, when you like where you
Well,
actually
15 before she learned the
the
banner.
Banerjee.
Yeah, before she went to
So for a long time, and she had been in practice, and as much as she loved it and she raised her family on it and everything, but she always felt like it wasn't quite always like hitting the mark as far as being able to help people or being able to help people as fully as she wanted. So along the way, she heard about these doctors in India named the Dr. Banerjees, and they had a clinic there, and she got in contact with them and decided to go and like basically study with them. And she went, I think, 8 or 9 different times over the course of
8 years.
8 years, for months at a time, not just like go for a week and hang out and come back. She would literally stay for a month or 2 and sometimes longer, literally sitting just like we are, knee to knee with either Dr. Prateep or Dr. Prasanta Banerjee, who were father and son. Their family, the Banerjee family, have been practicing homeopaths and medical doctors for over 150 years. They're on their, is it the fifth generation now?
Yeah.
They're the granddaughter of, I always get confused, Prateep. Who was the granddad? Who was the grandfather? Prasanta.
Yeah.
His granddaughter, she is now running the clinic. So the Banerjees over the course of time had developed protocols because they found that the same remedies were helping cure the same conditions. So as much as we all like to think that our condition is unique and that we're the only ones who've ever experienced this type of illness, the human condition, it's the same whether you're in India, South America, Europe, or here.
And they were seeing 1,200 patients a day collectively between
Yes.
the 10 doctors.
Yeah. So in the clinic, they have 10 to 12 doctors who are medical and homeopathic doctors. They each see 100 patients a day, which I can't even wrap my head around that.
That was one of
So,
the
and they do it
things
6
that was
days
so
a week.
amazing.
Yeah. 6 days a week. So they're seeing 1,100 patients a week. And like, just to be able to have that kind of volume, you're not spending, I mean, we feel cheated sometimes when our doctors won't even spend 5 minutes with us, but our doctors don't see 100 patients a day. No way.
And talk about the data. I mean, they collected
Amount,
so much
yes.
data seeing that amount of patients. And I feel like that was
That's where
something else too. That was, we don't have that data, I feel like, here in what we do in conventional.
No,
medicine.
I feel like either pharmaceutical or medical communities, they dream of having that type of data.
Right. So
so
that's like one of the things that makes practical homeopathy, I feel like, so special is
Yes.
that they could back it up with the data and the science.
Because they literally had a clinical research center attached to their clinic, so that they were just taking all these cases and putting them in computers.
And they're following them. It's not just they see them one time and then they never see them again. They send them on their way. Like, they're following up, because a lot of the cases they're doing are very serious diseases. But it's not just a sore throat that they're like, okay, well, you'll be fine. And
so why
They
is that
follow them.
interesting or exciting for you guys to know? Because I think when Joette coined that term, practical homeopathy, she could not have picked a better name for it, right? So practical homeopathy is making it practical and easy for you guys to use and for us to be able to, share and educate you guys with some of the things that we've learned over the years and, share her, Joette Calabrese's gateway courses and her study groups and things like that, right? So
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. So that is kind of in a nutshell what things are going to be happening here and what it's all about. Because we're going to be giving you the practical homeopathy perspective from 3 practical homeopaths who have studied and are still studying under the person that actually came up with the term practical homeopathy, using the Banerjee protocols that were created over the course of 50 years by medical doctors who literally saw thousands of patients
And
every week.
like live and breathe it. Like
And
they
yeah.
literally, that's all they do is
Yeah.
family and homeopathy.
Yeah,
That's their
that was it.
And the thing that I love too with Joette, like I feel like we are all part of carrying on her mission in our own ways.
Mhm.
So her thing, like when she became very close to the Banerjees and she wanted, like in their conversations, they were like, we want to get this out to the medical community and the doctors, and like we want to help change healthcare and how people are treated. And Joette was like, that's awesome, rock on. But her mission, Joette's, she's like, I want to take this to the moms and the grandmas. And I like get choked up every time I say that because that's us. That's you guys.
Mhm.
Like she wants people to be able to help their families and their friends and their pets. And whether you're a mom of children or a mom of pets, or you're a caregiver, plant mom, it doesn't matter. Like any type of caregiving that you provide to anyone or anything.
Take care of your parents,
Yes,
like family members.
That is who she
friends,
wants this information out into the hands of, that because that is her vision of how do we change healthcare. I don't feel like it's from the top down. I don't feel like I have any influence with doctors, pharmaceutical companies, like the AMA.
Well, and you're never going to change a
No.
system that is based on making money.
And broken.
Yeah.
But
And
when we can take it to the moms and the parents, and we start down here and work our way out rather than worrying about up, that's how this is going to change.
And what's amazing about this modality is that we're actually using, when you use homeopathic remedies, you're actually using a system of medicine that has no side effects and is, for all intents and purposes, completely safe. And so you can, you buy it from a homeopathic pharmacy, you buy it on Amazon. It's super cheap. I don't know. I have not even ordered a lot from Helios, but Nicole was showing me today. She's like, you can buy this bottle for $20 and it's got like 4,800 doses. And
those of you guys that do know me on here know I love Helios, right? I see Christy like smiling. Yes. She knows, right?
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, homeopathy is, I want to share this too, and this is not something that we talked about sharing, but I feel like homeopathy is, it could be lost easily because most people don't know what it is. Just like Heather and I coming into this, Sandra coming into this, like none of us knew what homeopathy was.
And we were looking.
Right. We were looking for answers.
Yeah.
We were looking for natural solutions, but it was introduced to us and we had no idea the world that it was opening up for us. And so that's kind of become our mission. Is to be able to share that with people that are looking for those answers and looking for a practical solution that's going to help them. So, but as far as the homeopathic manufacturers go, if you guys are into homeopathy, support them and purchase from them, because we don't want to see homeopathy lost because of how much it's affected all of our lives and how much we know that it'll change your guys' lives no matter where you're at with it. So that's our mission. That's what we're trying to do here, is to be able to share this with more people and get people to understand how easy it is to use. And one of the things that Heather didn't mention that I love that she used to say to me all the time, and I would quote her in my classes all the time, was that if she did not know
Yes.
practical homeopathy, if she had to learn classical homeopathy, she would have given up because it was too hard. It wasn't accessible. It wasn't easy for her to learn. And practical homeopathy made it so that it was easy to learn. And so that's what we're trying to share with you guys too, is that this is an easy system of medicine to learn.
It's the medicine of the people.
Yeah, it's God's medicine.
It
Yeah,
is, and it's
it
the
really
medicine
is.
of the people.
Our passion and our mission is going to be to share this with you guys in bite-sized pieces, not only in the podcast, but do you want to talk about anything else?
Yes, I do.
Or
I
drop
actually
some more
do.
stuff.
I'm going to drop some more nuggets here.
All
like
right,
a rapper or
let's
something.
go.
Yo, dog. Anyway, so we actually have quite a bit of fun stuff coming up. Let's just start with t-shirts since we're all wearing a t-shirt. So these are
t-shirt.
These are the t-shirts. Now, the ones actually, I've got one upstairs. I was going to bring it so I can hold it up, and I forgot.
It's similar.
It's exactly like this, except at the top it says homeopathy, God's medicine. And then it's got 5 remedies, and underneath each remedy are 3 things that remedy can help you with, help you uproot, help you, to feel better in those areas or whatever. So it's very educational. If any of you saw the ad that I made, that was very silly.
Actually, you didn't know that Sandra was wildly funny by this podcast, you definitely have to check out her ad because she is hilarious.
Well, and I am hoping to get something to work while we are drawing winners for the different things. I was gonna actually put it up and play it for you guys while we deal with figuring out who won the t-shirts and the tumbler and the trips. But anyway, so the t-shirts is the first thing, and we're going to be giving away 2 t-shirts tonight. And what we'll do is we'll just go ahead, once we announce the winners, we will ask you to send us an email to our business email address with your email address and your physical address so we can send it to you. So that's the first thing we're going to do is give away 2 of those. Then we have this tumbler that we're launching, and this is kind of like our t-shirts are a little harder because of sizes. So it's a little harder to get a t-shirt launched because people have different sizes that they need. But with the tumbler, everybody gets the same size. And so it's a little bit easier from a business perspective to launch a tumbler than it is to launch t-shirts. And so that's what we've decided is our first thing that we're actually selling. So these t-shirts, if you win one tonight, you will be the very first people to have them, and you might be the only people to have them for a month or 2. Susan's gonna get a t-shirt.
That's right.
Because we are not actually going to be selling them right away. We probably won't start selling them till around Thanksgiving. But the tumblers, on the other hand, are for sale right now, and they have this same message, only it's in black and white. And they're so cute. They're being created right now. So we've made the order. They're being custom made. It takes a little longer to do things when they're custom made. So it's going to be a little bit of a process to get them shipped into us and everything. But we're very excited about the tumblers, and we are going to choose one person that will win a tumbler tonight out of all the people that are here live. And then we also have a couple of trips to give away. So let's open up the Q&A, and then Heather, do you want to get a notebook and be writing down the names of people? And then you can handle that while we do the Q&A. So we're actually going to mute ourselves for a minute. We're going to unplug our microphone, and we're going to turn off the recording, because we want you to be able to talk freely about whatever it is you're asking. And sometimes, even though we're not taking cases tonight, sometimes people ask things that can be a little bit more of a personal nature. And we want you guys to feel comfortable.
Right.
And this is a podcast, and so it will be on like Apple and all that kind of stuff. And we don't want you to feel uncomfortable. So we're going to go ahead and turn off the recording. We're going to mute ourselves for a minute, come back, test the audio, and then open it up for questions. So give us 1 second to do that.
Thanks for listening to the Simple Hopeopathy Podcast. Tune in next time for more education, empowerment, and encouragement as we discuss how you can take back your health through practical homeopathy. Please share and subscribe and leave us a review. And if you'd like to purchase merchandise to show off your natural mama pride, go to connectedmomlife.com/natural-mama for our latest homeopathy swag. See you next time.